What's up, guys? JD here. I hope everyone's doing well out there today. Today I have another new knife unboxing to do with you guys. This one comes courtesy of my amazing wife who funded this particular knife. So as you can see, it is a Benchmade and it's a knife I've never had any interaction with before. So let me take you over to the bench. We'll open it up, see what comes with it, and dive into the knife a little bit. Somebody is patiently, or should I say impatiently, waiting for me to finish up this review. All right, guys, we're over at the bench and we're going to have a look at the Benchmade, sponsored by my wife. Thank you, dear. I very much appreciate it and love you. As you can see, this is the 535 Bugout, my very first Benchmade. And I am really excited to open this up with you guys. I didn't realize that there was some tape here, so let's go ahead and open that up, courtesy of my Hogue Deca, ironically. Okay, so it comes in this really nice foam pad. This clearly is meant for a variety of knives because this is swallowing up the Bugout. Let's see here. Comes with their commitment. I'll open that up very, very quickly for you. Feel free to pause and read that. I will read that a little bit later. It comes in this branded little carrier, which is okay, I suppose. It's not as nice as what you get with the Hogue, but I get that it saves costs. Let's go ahead and, oh, what's this? This is Genuine Access Mechanics, and talks about the carry clip and how you can reverse it depending on how you prefer to carry it. So feel free to pause that and read that if you really want to read that and see what that is. Let me go ahead and get this out the way and give you some first impressions. So the Grivery, it really has good texture to it. It feels kind of plasticky to me, but it does feel like it's at least like a premium style material. Kind of wish they would have went with a G10. I'm assuming this cut cost and cuts weight because this is very lightweight. I love, love, love the blue barrel spacers on the back. It is a mini deep carry pocket clip that takes it right up there to the tippy top. A little bit different than the Hogue. The operation feels a little bit gritty, but that's probably because it's right out of the box like that. So I'll probably take that and lube that up. But let's have a closer look with it open. It's a really pretty blue. I love that blue color. It has the Benchmade logo there next to the blue thumb studs. As you can see, this is a S30V. Is that coming? Yeah, there we go. S30V blade. It has the drop point style. Very, very, very lightweight and a beautiful color. The operation could also be because I'm behind the tripod. I'm not trying to hit the tripod with my arm. Just a little bit of a different wrist action. It's not quite as smooth as my Hogue. And again, it could just need a break in. I've had the Hogue for, I'm really having to flick that wrist to get that action. There we go. Maybe not. So anyway, it's very familiar. The axis lock feels very much like the Able lock from Hogue, but I will say the Deca definitely feels a tiny bit smoother. So let's get, while we're talking about it, let's get that Hogue out here and give you a little bit of a comparison. Lining up the pivots. Yep, no surprise there. Very similar in size. I mean, very, very close. You get a little bit more with the slant cut on the grip for the Hogue, but the clip point and drop point are very close in length. I did not actually write down their inches, but as you can see for yourself, very similar. And I wanted to spend a little bit of time on these knives specifically since they are, in my opinion, direct competitors of one another. So you can see, hopefully that comes through well, you can see the Benchmade is ever so slightly thinner due to that Grivery grip versus the G10 from the Hogue. Really pretty blue. I think I still like the Damascus from Hogue. It's just so different from anything else out there. It's really, really pretty. And you know, I'm not left-handed, I'm right-handed, but there's a bit more resistance in the feel. And again, that could be just a break-in, but you can see for me, it is with my non-dominant hand, it's actually easier for me to deploy the Hogue than it is the Benchmade. So that's very interesting. I'm really excited about this knife. It has a ton of aftermarket support. There's a lot of ways to customize this knife. I've definitely planned to do like a long-term review as I try to break it in and get a little bit more familiar with it. Sometimes I feel like I go to deploy it with that axis lock and I think I have it, and then for some reason I get a couple in and it just doesn't want to kick out. And it could be, like I said, it needs to break in. It might be slightly different where the pivot position is versus the axis lock. It feels like the pivot, I don't know if it's because it's larger, but it does feel like the pivot's much closer to the axis lock on the Hogue, which could account for why it's so much easier to deploy just using the axis lock. But the action's good. I'm definitely not knocking it. It feels good. It's definitely better than the SOG Terminus XR. But let me go ahead and get a couple of other comparisons. I know I stopped to talk about the Deca, but that's only because they're direct competitors, in my opinion, both size, weight, and price point. So let's get it out here with the Doug Ritter. And of course, that was a really forceful deployment because I was trying to mimic the action of the Benchmade. So as you can see, the Ritter is definitely bigger in length, both blade and grip. Let's see. Left-handed, nice. The Ritter obviously much thicker. This is a workhorse of a knife. The grips are rounded, contoured, maximum grip. They have extra jimping here, both on the thumb studs and on the able lock. And that's to ensure, you know, that you have maximum grip with gloves, without gloves. And now I'm messing up here. There we go. Being that this is a little bit bigger, you got to put a little bit of oomph behind it if
that's what she said.
You're trying to do the able lock deployment. And I'm amazed that I have not mixed up the name of these locks, trying to go back and forth between axis and able. Let's do a couple more comparisons of some of my other favorite knives. Let me try one more time. Nope, just not happening for me today. It could be that I need an adjustment. The blade looks plenty centered, but just taking it out of the box, I haven't had a real chance to kind of look it over and see if things are too tight, too loose. Granted, it's made in the USA, but any production knife I have found, sometimes some of them need a little bit of a tweak. Here it is with the pivots lined up against one of my very favorite knives for a big full-size knife, the Spyderco PM2 with the Lynch Northwest grips and Rit-dyed blue. If you can't tell, I do like myself a blue knife. And then still one of my favorite budget EDCs, the Rat 2 from Ontario with Flatanium copper scales. So you can see it is very close in size, but slightly bigger, and obviously much smaller than the PM2, to the point where I'm sure it's noticeable on camera. Let's go ahead and do a quick comparison on profile. So this Benchmade is very, very thin, super lightweight, super duper lightweight. And then it's going to be way lighter than the copper Flatanium scale R2D2. So let's take a look here. It's closer than I thought it was going to be on there. Are you coming over to say hi too? Did you hear me talking sweet to Bella and you wanted to come see what was going on? Anyway, I know that there's a ton of Benchmades out there. Thanks for tuning in and watching me unbox my very first one, courtesy of the wife. And stay tuned for a long-term review. I'm going to go right now actually and take a look at all the pivot screws and everything, make sure that everything's nice and oiled up, loose, and just make sure that everything's like it is. I'll do a long-term follow-up for this knife as well, so be sure to watch out for that if you're interested. Okay, really quickly, I got off camera after opening it and stopping filming the Benchmade Bugout, and once I was able to kind of just step away from the camera and not try to really fidget with it, looking down, not hitting the tripod, it is very smooth. And of course I looked down at the camera to see that I was out of frame and I've lost my rhythm. I think it potentially could be that it just needs to be lubed up, but I am going to go ahead and just, like I do all my knives, take it off real quick, throw some good lube on there, make sure I like the amount of lube that's on there. But I just wanted to be fair and let you guys know, like, once I wasn't in front of the camera and I was just fidgeting with it, you know, without the pressure of the camera, I was able to deploy and retract it quite easily. I do really like the thumb studs. I forgot to mention that. Not just the blue thumb studs, but I do like the grip that they offer. And my dog just walked in here. Bella, what are you doing? You couldn't wait for me? Huh? Hey, you couldn't wait for me? Anyways, thanks guys. I just wanted to add that onto the video because I just wanted to be fair about my initial impressions of the knife. Thanks for tuning in. Beautiful knife. Thanks, honey. Peace.